Hello, my name is Ben Yard and I'm the Somerset Whittler, and today we're going to be talking about sharpening and stropping my blade. I've had a few requests from this. I've been a little bit reluctant to do it because I'm not the best at this, but I've had a few people ask, so I thought before I sit down and work on my next project, we'd give it a go. You might hear a bit of background noise. That's my son playing Call of Duty in the background. So what we have here is my medium detail knife. Needs a bit of sharpening. Two ways I do it. I do have a stone which I would soak normally in water, and then I would run the blade up and down to sharpen it, or I use a workshop knife sharpener, and this is a fine grit on it. And what I would do is I would just put a drop or two of water on there, and I'm just going to see if I can get a good visual on this for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my black marker. I'd recommend, if you're new to sharpening, you're doing this too, but this will help visualization here. So I'm just going to mark the blade, and then all I'm going to do, I've always got used to holding at an angle. It's just the way I do it. So I'm just going to take the knife at one end. I'm going to find the edge that I want, which is kind of flat and then up a touch. So when you hold it, I don't know how much you can see there, but when you hold the blade flat, you can actually see the edge is sitting up off. So you just then want to just tilt it down, and then that will give you a gap at the other end. See where the water is welling up there? Hopefully you can see that. I don't know what the light's on in here. This isn't usually where I film, but the wife's working in the house, so we are out in the pub. So you would just lift, and then you would just drag that blade down. Pick it up, bring it back. Same again. Pick it up, bring it back. I use this particular sharpener simply because I can carry it around with me. It's easy. It is a pocket sharpener. Back up and down. Back up and down. If we turn it over now, hopefully you can see on the black marking, I'm actually sharpening the edge, because that's all I'm after, is a sharp edge. And then if you run your finger carefully up the other side, you should be able to just feel what they would call a burr, which we can, but not massively. So I'm just going to run it down probably 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you could just see that on the black, and now you can feel that the other side now. So now what we're going to do is the same process on the other side to take that burr away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you pick it up at that end. 7, pick up. 8, pick up. 9, pick up. 10. This water is starting to change colour and has created a grit in it, and that will help to sharpen that blade. So hopefully you can see. That one needs a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can feel that now on the other side. You can see that. See where we've sharpened that edge. side. Don't need to race it up and down, and you certainly don't need to press hard. I can fill it that side. I'm going to go this side for a couple. This blade wasn't overly blunt in the first place, so I'm happy to leave that there. Okay, then our next process is to take our strop, and there's lots of different ways of making strops. I've used some before where I've actually put like the green compound on a slate. People use cardboard. I know I've got this flex cut one that came with a knife as a gift, so I tend to use this one. I like it. You can just put some leather on it. Well, that was all that is. It's leather on a block. Compound wise, most things tend to work. I tend to use a paste simply because I get a bit heavy handed with the compounds and I end up putting it on, it becomes unlevel. Whereas with a paste, I tend to just put a brush it on, which I've recently done with this one, as you can see. Again, most compounds will work, so I wouldn't stress too much about that. And all we're really doing is, so we've sharpened that edge, how close I can get. So we've got a sharp edge on that, but there's still micro cuts from the grit. So what we're basically doing is taking that sharp edge now and then polishing it so that you don't see that. So if I was to carve now, you'll see like tram lines. It'll be sharp, but you'll see tram lines on the wood. So what we would need to do, again, it's a habit of mine, raising the strop. You don't need to raise the strop. I put it down at one end. I would tilt it, same as I was doing before, and I would just drag that up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and pick it up at each end, and don't roll the blade, which is a habit that we all tend to do. Lost count, but for this video, I don't think that really matters. And then I'll just turn it over. And the same again, that's flat, let's raised it a little bit, just raise it down. And again, speed. You don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard, what you're going to end up doing is pushing that blade in to the material, and then what you'll end up doing is rounding it. So then you may have sharpened quite nicely, and then you'll end up blunting it. So you just need to, if you're really experienced at it, it would be a little bit like the Turkish barbers. So they get the razors, and on the leather, they're just turning it up and down, up and down. They've mastered that positioning, and they're turning it over, and they're mastering that position. I've seen somebody do one the other day where they go down, and then to prevent you rolling, they come back over, which I thought was quite neat, because this is the area where you're going to pick it up now, and if you're picking it up as you're coming up, you're going to roll that, whereas I stop and pick it up. Some people turn it over at that stage to stop themselves from doing that. So you're actually picking up the knife, turning it over, picking it up, turning it over. I don't do it like this just simply because of habit. It's quite a good idea if you're new to it. So I would just go down like a lot of people here, usually count how many times I'm doing it as I go down, and then turn it over and do a similar amount. Same as I go back up, and we're polishing that area that we were talking about just a second ago, that had taken the black off the blade. Now you don't need to sharpen too much. I did that for a demonstration. I hardly ever sharpen, simply because I'll strop when I need to. And the only time you really need to sharpen is if you've dropped your blade, or you notice like that tram line effect. If you can't get that out by stropping, then you might want to take it to a sharpener or a stone, depending on how you do it. And then hopefully, if I get the light right, you'll see that I've polished that, and you should be able to see that it's the edge that I've polished. Turn it over. So you can probably see lots of dicks, lots of scrapes up here, but the actual edge is all we're really worried about. And that edge needs to be razor sharp. We can go back if we're not happy. And that is all there is really to it. Don't push too hard, because that will blunt it. So what you can do is just get there. It's all there. Bit of basswood. This little fella, I think it was in a previous one. And then we will just check the sharpness of that blade. Hardly any pressure on there at all. You check to see how shiny that is, which is lovely. And there is no markings in there at all to show that I have not polished that blade. If that was not polished very well, you would see some tram lines, possibly just small ones, but you'll see some tram lines. I'm not an expert at this. This is just how I do it. Other people do it different ways. I've done this just to help out a few people who have asked me, and I'll post this one. Any questions, drop them down. I'll see if I can help. Any comments, again, please do. The encouragement keeps me doing it, and if I can help you, you help me. All's good. Brilliant. Have a good day. Bye-bye now.